With all the Genshin drama been going on recently, and for those of you who have been sleeping under a rock, let me catch you up to speed real quick. We are boycotting Genshin. No, not because they've done us wrong with some new waifu. If anything, they've done us pretty good. But no, it's because we get zero updates and zero care from the developers. They gave us 3 wishes for the last 3 years of playing Genshin, and that is just a slap in the face if you ask me. Because Honkai is casually giving out free 5 stars every 2 minutes, left, right, and center. And what do? We get nothing. We get scraps. And this seems pretty simple, you know, boycott Genshin so we get better treatment. But this boycott hasn't really been working, since some people's egos are just too big. And they got some deep-rooted psychological issues and just want praise 24/7. Because they're just kinda narcissistic like that. And that could never be me. I'm not narcissistic. I'm not always looking for ego boosts.
I should be the only motherfucker getting praise in the Genshin community because I don't spend money on Genshin Impact.
Jeez, that's a sad slime right there. And anyways, I edited this hour-long documentary about why we are boycotting Genshin over on BMO's channel. You know, it's a pretty small channel, just trying to help out. Look, there's my name in the intro. Mom, are you proud of me? I made it. And yeah, because of that, even though I made a ton of Genshin scripts and video ideas and finally caught up to Genshin's storyline, I've decided to jump ship and finally try Genshin's cooler younger brother. Because, you know, younger brothers are always just the best at everything. Better at volleyball, better at the gym, better at life. But it's kinda sad since I've been playing Genshin for like, what, the past 3 years? And lost countless hours of my life to that game. Gambling.
I'm okay. I'm fine. Quinchana. Quinchana. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh well, it is what it is. So yeah, there's my thoughts on Honkai Star Rail. And I know I'm kinda late, but here's a Genshin player's perspective on this, whatever this is. Thomas the Tank Engine. Enjoy. Okay, first things first. This game feels a lot better in Genshin, in many ways. The presentation is a lot cleaner, the story is very fast-paced and doesn't have pages and pages of unskippable dialogue, like in another game developed by Hoyoverse. Genshin. And you know, that was a pretty big issue in that game, and I made a whole video about that, so I think you should go check it out. Don't worry about that blatant self-promotion. And I guess the most noticeable difference between Genshin and Honkai Star Rail is that Honkai is a turn-based RPG, and for those of you who don't know what that means, RPG means role-playing game. But that kinda doesn't mean anything nowadays, since every new game releases an RPG, somehow, for some reason. But anyways, I know what a lot of you are probably thinking. Wow, turn-based? This game must be super slow, since you gotta take turns, and my brain can't handle that, since, you know, I need constant dopamine, because I just scroll TikTok and Reels all day, and YouTube Shorts. Give me the dopamine, I gotta scroll. But no, somehow this game feels super fast, like faster than Genshin somehow. And that game wasn't turn-based, that game was just punch Hilla Charles in the face until they're dead. But yeah, this game feels faster than Genshin, and that's not an understatement. Battles in this game are like super fast, like blink and you'll miss it type fast. Most common enemy encounters are only like 1 or 2 turns long, but I feel like I should first explain the combat system, which isn't that deep, but it's pretty fun. So each character is a specific element, which is like ice or physical or this green thing. And yeah, before combat encounter, you can see the enemy's specific elemental weakness. And if you equip the right character before the fight and just bump them on the head, like just grab your bat and whack them, it gives you an ambush bonus. And that makes the fight just easier for you. And this forces you to think about team comp, which characters you have on your team. Yeah, this game rewards you for being smart, and it makes you feel smart. And when you're actually in the fight, each enemy has 2 health bars. The white one, which is like the elemental resistance, I think, and then you have the normal red health bar. General rule of thumb is that you want to get the white health bar down to 0 by using the specific weakness. So if they're weak to ice, use ice. If they're weak to fire, use fire. You get what I'm saying? Sounds complex, right? Sounds like those baby puzzles where it's like, do you know where the circle goes in? The circle goes in the circle hole. Good job. Do you know where the square goes? The square goes in triangle hole. You're welcome. And hold up, you may have noticed that there's only 3 attacks you can do. You have a normal attack, a special attack, and an ultimate attack. So then you're probably thinking, how can combat really be that hard when all you have are 3 options? But trust me, man, the combat is pretty hard. I promise I'm not just acoustic. Maybe I'm a bit acoustic. But the special attacks, like, cost this white meter. And so you can't throw them out whenever you want. The only way to charge up for your special attacks is to do normal attacks. So you really have to think when you want to throw out your special attacks, and you can't use them 24/7. So you have to plan a couple moves ahead, kinda like chess. And yeah, your ult attack is pretty self-explanatory. That makes sense. Like, it charges every once in a while. But the cool thing about it is that when it does get recharged, you can instantly throw it out, even if it is on an enemy's turn, which is pretty cool, kinda OP, since that saved me countless times. But on this note, while we're talking about the ultimates, let's look at the animations. They look 100 times better than Genshin's ults. And yeah, they kinda have to look very good since you'll be seeing them a lot. A lot. But I'm not complaining. Each character's ones looks and feels so unique, and they each have a ton of different effects. Like March 7th's one does ice damage, and it is splash damage on everyone. But Dan Hung's, I think that's how you say his name, focuses on just one enemy, and Dr. Ratio just throws a building on a guy. Like, come on, that's pretty cool. And this game is pretty simple now that I think about it. It's ice attack against enemy weak against ice, physical against enemy that's weak against physical. And yeah, it's like baby's first puzzle game. But I've heard this game gets more complex as you play more, and I just kind of started it, so I guess I can't judge it that deep. But the combat's fun. I'll give it that. Also, the story in this game is pretty neat, and has some obvious parallels to Genshin, in the sense that the protagonist also has amnesia. Wow. And he also has some weird OP powers, and no one else can explain. Like, you're just the MC, you're just him. You are him. I mean, or her. You get to pick whoever you want to be, and I don't think there's any differences, but, you know, I'm gonna pick the dude for obvious reasons. But probably the best part about this game is that there is no Paimon. Let me say that again. No Paimon. This makes me so unbelievably happy. Paimon honestly kills Genshin for me, because she will never shut up. She's always going on about some next thing, and her voice, don't get me started by her voice, she just keeps yapping all day every day. And yeah, Honkai's lack of a Paimon is a pretty good decision, and it feels like the game actually respects your intelligence, since you're not constantly being screamed at by some giant flowing baby. So yeah, good on you, Honkai. I already like you a lot. But yeah, in this game you just hop from planet to planet on the Star Rail Express or Starlight Express, whatever this is. It's a train in space. It's Thomas the Tank Engine in space, which is pretty neat. And you got this weird fairy conductor bunny. It's not as annoying as Paimon, so I'll let you pass. And yeah, the characters feel a lot better than Genshin, from what I've seen. In Genshin, it's just kind of you're by yourself and you're just traveling. So yeah, you're a lonely traveler. Get it? Because the main guy in Genshin is called the Traveler. You know what? I'll just leave. But yeah, no. But in this game, you're part of a team with March 7th and Dan Hung, if I said that right. And yeah, these guys always talk between themselves, and you actually feel like connected to what's going on. These guys bicker and argue every 5 minutes, which is fun to see. And March 7th surely just gets you into dumb issues, and Dan always has to save it. So, pretty cool. Which actually made me not want to skip the dialogue 24/7 like in Genshin. Cough cough. Genshin, it's not looking good for you at the minute. Also, just the general aesthetic of this game is super cool. Like, it's all space themed and futuristic, and wow. Like, for example, the main menu, which is probably an afterthought in most things. Like, look at Genshin's main menu. What is this? Just a massive clutter mess. And also another shameless self-plug, I guess. I made a video complaining about Genshin's UI. But now, let's swap over to Honkai. Look at this, the guy just pulls out his phone. His phone! He goes on his phone in the main menu. That is groundbreaking. And yeah, characters from the game will randomly send you messages for like quests or random pieces of lore, or they're just checking up on you. And I can't lie, I like this feature a lot. It makes the game feel lived in and that you matter. And it makes you feel like you have friends. I'm lonely, man. I get no messages. Peace out. The only main downside I see from this game compared to Genshin is the fact that the wish screen, or whatever it's called in this game, just how you pull characters, doesn't look anywhere near as cool or as iconic as Genshin. Like, you watch a train drive past and you see this weird bunny, and the door opens and the color of the door corresponds to what rarity you have. And of course, all I see is blue because, you know, my luck is dog. I guess it sounds pretty cool. Makes some cool noises. Is it as great as Genshin's wish screen? Not really. I've wasted too much money on Genshin's wish screen. Oh well, I'm not a gambling addict. Also, oh yeah, this game has like 50 different banners running at once, which, yes, it's a pretty big plus side from Genshin. Oh yeah, on that note, this game has way better quality of life than Genshin, like just way better. Everything feels so straightforward and easy, whereas in Genshin everything was so clunky and long and unresponsive. Like, yeah, no, Genshin just feels a lot more half-baked compared to this game, but that makes sense since this game is way newer than Genshin and had way more time in the oven. And another issue with this game, I guess, Well, not really an issue, it's just a different genre. But it's not as open as Genshin, since in that game you have the whole massive open world to explore, waypoints you can go. But in Honkai Star Rail, the game is kinda just corridor simulator where you go from one room to another and fight enemy after enemy. But to the game's credit, the environments you go to look very nice. And like, they actually look visually distinct. You go from this massive space station to this ice planet, and then you're in this city, you're just escaping the gods. You know, it's pretty cool. It's not as big as open as Genshin, but it feels lived in. And at the end of the day, isn't that all that matters? Overall, I wouldn't mind playing this game instead of Genshin, you know, with the whole boycott going on. Unless you forgot, BoycottGenshin. And I can see myself continuing to play this game, since, you know, it gets a lot of love from the developers with constant new updates. Of course, it can't be directly compared to Genshin since they're two different genres, but what if I told you there was a hidden way to compare the games and see which game truly is better? The waifus. What? Well, that's an issue for another day.